maybe just a spark of imagination, really. Is I wanna. It's good enough though.
Get it off.
We're at the Boardroom and we're doing the outside boulders. So we've got a lovely clean wall and we're going to be chucking some new holes on it.
We are just starting. Getting all the things ready to go up on the walls and then put the things on the walls. The fun bit.
Volumes first. We'll figure out where to put the volumes. And then through that we'll plan out where we can put what routes, so we'll figure out which section is best for which difficulty, and we'll figure that out by just looking at the holes, I think. So,
Trying to imagine a problem or a sequence to the blank canvas first and attach the volumes, trying to put them in a position where it will create something, maybe just a spark of imagination, really, I guess. It can be a combination of winging it and a combination of deliberately putting something on the wall with intent. Anyone can put a volume on a wall, but it's putting a volume on a wall in a way that will make you do something specific, and that's what I'm trying to do.
this works the way I think it will. It will be good. Half the battle, I think, is making it look good. So what I want to do with these is I want to set it so you have some sort of compression against the two, and then fire up for another one up there. I think that'll look quite good. I think. As you're setting as well, you have to make it inclusive, so you can't have the span too big, or else they'll complain they can't do it, it'll be too hard. So me personally, I start harder and then go easier. Once you've set a harder, complex problem, it's easier to set an easier route through it because you know the direction that you're going with the harder route. So you can kind of forward plan what you're doing. You don't want to mess up the harder routes by putting a jug ladder through the middle, say. Everyone will hate that. So.
On this wall specifically, we're trying to set a range of problems for from beginner to, I would describe as advanced intermediate, with a good range of problems and styles and, you know, different movement. So not everything's a jumper, not everything's a slab, not everything's pressy, not everything's jumpy. It's all about variety. Start with the volumes because that will give you something to build towards, or it'll create a move, it'll create a sequence, create something that feels more than just wood, metal, you know, plastic. I've deliberately pulled out these Rock City grips because of the nature of the hold and the angle and the texture. So there's a dual texture on here, so you can be really precise in terms of forcing movement. And because it's on a slab, you can force somebody to do. You can do something. You can force it. Whereas if you try and put these on down the end line, for instance, you just wouldn't be able to hold them. It'd go from, you know, if you put the same hold on the same bit of wall, if it's slab or overhang, the difference would be V3 to V10 instantly, just because of angle change. So, you know.
Generally, when I'm setting, I try and set stuff that I've climbed in the past. I come from a competition background, so I've done a lot indoors, but I enjoy it more outside. I find sometimes outside it's very subtle, so a slight tweak of your foot there, or you know, you move your hips slightly this way, and suddenly it's easier. There are a lot of different styles that everyone likes, so there's a lot of people who like the jumpy double clutch kind of stuff, and there's a lot of people who like literally, you know, grabbing a hold and locking it down and grabbing the next one and pulling and pulling and pulling. So yeah, you've got to cater for all of it. These footholds are horrible because they stick to the bolt, so they turn with it. So you always end up hurting your fingers.
more often than not, I think of a move I want to set, and I'll focus on that first, and I'll set the rest of the block around that. So here I started in the middle, and now I'm working my way down, and I'll work my way back up from the middle once I've done the start.
Our job is to set this wall. We've got a time constraint, so at some point customers are going to come in and they want to climb this bit of wall. So ideally we want to be finished for sort of 2, 3 o'clock, and then tested, and then opening up. I mean, if you're paying to come in to climb, you're going to be most excited about the newer bits, so the quicker we can get it finished and perfect, the better. And then the rest of it's all right. Well, you'd have an interesting finish then, because your foot would be on polish.
How much do we communicate between, so we get each other's opinions?
Well, yeah,
and,
if you set rubbish, I'm going to tell you you're going to set rubbish.
I can look at Nick's work, and Nick can look at my work, and I can look at Joe's work, and Joe can look at my work, and we can all, it's all open to interpretation and
well, you know
critique.
What?
You can,
yeah.
Nothing is off the off limits. The job of my job is to look at his work and critique it and say, could it be better?
There's no malice. It's like,
yeah, we're trying to create the best possible thing we can do, I think. And if he says, comes up with an idea, because when you're setting a boulder, you've got like tunnel vision. You've got it maybe a certain way you want to move to work, and a certain sequence, and then Nick will come in and just do it completely different, or look at it completely different, and you haven't seen it because you've just been focused like laser beam on what you want to do.
You can also see attention to detail as well. Like on this block, I like you've lined it up with the shape of the wall, the colours of the wall.
Yeah,
that's good. Well done, you did good there.
Thanks. Yeah. First of all, aesthetically, there should be something about it that like intrigues you, because then you've got a little bit of a hook. You're hooked. You sort of, you're interested. And if it doesn't spark that, then you're not succeeded as a route setter, I think.
These whites on that little wall. So on this little wall, they want me to start on the volume. So because it's a low grade, I need to be able to make it easy to pull on and a nice easy finish. So I'm working with these holds to make that happen. I haven't really gotten into the hard stuff yet because I'm still getting really proficient in the low grades. But I think I'm getting there, slowly. You think a flurple is super easy, and actually it's a nemesis to try and actually get on the wall correct. So I've been doing this for 6 months and I still have to tweak a flurple. Maybe today's the day.
It'll be a real shame for me for a problem to be revolve around the first move being the crux, and then it's really easy to the top. So for me, I try and set something consistently even would be my description of it. So it's consistently sustained at that grade, whether that be B1 or B5 or B8. There is no move on it that's really hard, but every move is maybe engaging or intriguing or maybe complex or
Pretty serious move is that. Yeah, so now we've got our king lines sort of set. So you've got the green there, you've got pink there, you've got red there. You can look about filling in. So we need an easier climb on this right hand side, and then we need a sort of a down climb in the middle. The more experienced a setter you are, the more you can tap into other styles, is what I find. I like setting with Liam because he sets completely different to the way I set. He'll set something way more complex that I've not really thought about. So even now I'm learning stuff, just climbing on his stuff. I think same with him as well when he's climbing my stuff. It's a little bit different to what he's used to. Yeah? See what I'm doing there? Huh? We've finished setting for today. We're going to stop for lunch now, and then we're going to test and probably tweak everything after that.
So we would start generally on the easiest one, so that'd be the purple, the white, the brown. We try and go through them in progression of difficulty, so we can get some sort of like scale. I try and make it sure that the progression is evenly distributed along the boulder problem. So for instance, like a brown, you don't have the crux at the top, you don't have the crux in the middle, so it's kind of evenly spread. Could moving a hold right make it feel more interesting, enjoyable? Does it, you know, is that hold the right hold for that bit of wall, or is it another hold? Is it more in cut? Do we move the finish, make it higher, make it lower? Generally, you know, you can kind of got a good gauge that it works straight away.
So this is like almost our main feature wall. So as soon as you drive in, this is the first bit of wall you see. You kind of need the problems to stand out a bit, so it'll be a bit more wow. So we put a bit more attention to the moves on these ones.
You can definitely get to a point where you don't know what a V1 feels like, but because I climb outside regularly, I tend to climb all grades and all styles and all variations in that, so I'd like to think that I'm not just climbing upper V numbers or upper E numbers. It tends to be in case I climb everything, so I'd like to think I still have an interpretation of what that number should feel like, but that's potentially using as well, that becomes into a bit of a grey area when you're using outdoor climbs as benchmarks and then interpreting that on a wall, and it's hard, you can't replicate that. You shouldn't try and replicate outside, inside, because you just can't. My job is done. Stand up on your left heel.
I'm surprised constantly at stuff he throws onto the wall and then says, oh, that'll do. Oh, that's good. What a loser. Oh, for sake. No one can do that first move except you on the whole planet.
So should we sort that out then? Or is it a thumb catch? A thumb dab on the paint? What if you bring this in? So I think that's too far heel. I think it's we're saying this.
Oh, it's not hard. It's not a hard move. It's just very subtle, which is exactly what Liam is very good at. Toe or heel? Have you done it off your toe?
No, Joe's saying it's toe.
He said heel.
It felt wrong with the heel.
Have you tried it with a toe?
I'll try now with toe if you want.
One of our team who is handy is having a hard time. So if Nick can't do it, that's probably too hard for our climb base. So there's no point in having a hard block that no one's going to climb. So if we try and make it easier, hopefully it'll open it up to more people, so more people can enjoy the process or the, you know, what we're trying to give them to climb on really. So they get one more thing to climb on. So we think the top's okay. We're happy with the top. It's just this first move. What I wanted is kind of just a bit touch too hard. So all part of route setting really. You have to be ready to have an idea and then think of a new idea straight away and change and adapt. But also try and keep it within context. There's no point in putting a big jug on in the middle of the problem. It just destroys what you're trying to do really. Just do that. That's what I'm doing. And make sure when you hit that is what I'm doing. When you hit that, when you hit that, hit that.
Wait, what you say?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah?
I did it.
Don't do that.
This is the moves where Liam is like Go on, do my green. Do my green. Oh, you. Oh! What did I do wrong there? Off.
Oh, that was better.
Well, I've climbed with Liam a lot, so I like to think he knows what I can do, but I'm just not good at those moves. I don't need to keep trying that now. I'm just trying it because I want to learn the move. That's not hard. That's not a hard problem. That's not. Right. It's just I'm not doing it right. Is what it is.
Oh! Huh?
Problem.
The pull on that yellow is harder.
Yeah.
Hold the volume. You don't have to hold a volume on that. You do. You balance on the volume. Sorry. Holding the green volume progresses you into this.
Like they said to me when I started, if I can justify why I've chosen to put holds where I've put them, and they can give me a reason why it doesn't work or why it needs tweaking, it makes sense, and I love to learn that way. But if it's, and this isn't what they do, but if it's just that, get it off, like, that's no good. No, criticism is the whole part of this, because you're never going to be able to get it so it fits for everyone. So being a good measuring stick is part of what I do. If people can cheat a route, you have still said it is safe, but it might not be the moves that you intended. So learning how to force a move, going, well, this hold looks good and you can pull it this way, but also if I'm not focused on pulling it that way, you can pull it in a whole number of different ways. So you want to make sure the holds that you're putting, whether it's feet or hands, are forcing you to do movement. So that's something that these guys are really, really good at, is choosing set holds, specific holds, which I'm still learning. And so they'll explain to me, going, I've chose this one over this one because you can't match it, or because you can't foot swap on it, or it forces you to hold it this specific way. So it's super, super interesting.
Believe in me, we're all alive together. You came through, true to form forever. Magic shadow twilight, poured in a glass cup. This is your dream, and it's make-believe. Farewell for now.
I think that's in the right spot. I think the volume's in the right spot. I think you've put too much punch at the start.
Yeah.
And then I think,
Well, you didn't. You turned it up.
well, yeah, you wasn't enough punch. Then you've over punched. Now you need to find the point
Find
where
the
you.
balance.
Yeah. Nick's not happy though with the sequence in the middle here. Kicking the foot out left.
Well, he set it in a certain way. I can cheat it every time.
Because you're matching the edge.
No, because I can reach. I can reach my foot out, can't I?
Onto the volume here.
Yeah,
Yes. My call would be take that hold off. So Joe's trying to hit something specific, and at the moment there's 3 different people all saying that there's one particular section that's highlighted. So we're happy with the start, we're happy with the top. There's like a middle section that we're not. So we're just trying to connect those 2 dots. The question being, is it too hard? Well, no, because we've done it. We could leave it and walk away, but trying to be more specific than that, really. It's not too hard. It's just not right. Is that fair?
It's fair.
Talking, experimentation, maybe hold change, maybe add a hold, move a hold into a different position, different orientation. yeah, we're not sure. Maybe it's one hold, I think, but we'll see. For some reason it feels more natural.
Just flapping around it.
Look at the shoes on.
I can't move, man. I literally cannot move.
Let me try the top.
Go.
Right, go on.
Yeah.
Come on, then.
Come on, you're there. Oh, there, you're on.
Yes, come on.
I mean, that's alright, isn't it? In cold weather, it's only going to get hotter though, isn't it? Because it's getting full sun, it's making it quite warm.
Well, the brand new volumes as well. So we've only got a certain amount of skin, and we've still got another 4 days of setting and testing. So I'm going to tactically step away.
The foothold's gone higher, and the pinch has come down.
Yeah.
It's in range now, isn't it? You still got to go to those. Ooh! Joe just had a good go. Davey G with the magic.
See that there?
Yeah, I saw that. The pinch and the gup. It's good enough though.
Smallest we've got in them pinks.
Oh! That's too cash. That's too cash. Great. So that's okay. My thinking was the purple should move right,
Yeah.
and then you should take the guppy in this.
Yeah.
Then you go to a hold. Pretty bad. You go up on the ledge, and the finish is straight above you, but it's fully upside down backhand. So
Yeah.
you have to stand up off the ledge to go into it to match. So you can't just slam dunk.
When's John Won Chong coming?
Well, he's
Yeah?
coming
Is
after.
he coming here after he's seen the video?
Yeah. It's interesting today. It's like the ones we've been like, yeah, fine, move on. It's been the odd minor tweak, but it's always the problem with we've never actually set with those volumes, so we don't actually know. You know, will they work? Won't they work? You're always taking a gamble when you're trying to set something a bit dynamic-y or a bit sort of just unknown, really. So it's just a risk. Clearly, but sometimes you have to take risks in setting to feel like that to know where the level is. I guess you've got to know how. You've got to know how high you can reach. I'd like to say we'd like to put as much time into getting a V1 or a V3 or a V5 right and fettling with it, like for instance my black slab, just changing the positioning of the foot, but that still took a lot of trial and error, and then you can get to a point where we're on this peak now where there's possibly two different ways. One way wasn't set, and it's a bit like I'm not really happy with the problem being done a different way than what it wasn't initially intended. But that's all part of the process of setting. You can't. It's very rare that you set a complete set and that you're happy with every single move, with every single problem. Someone's going to do something different anyway. As soon as you open it up to the customer's going to interpret it differently, or climb it differently, or match on something, or do something wacky that we haven't seen anyway. So you do spend more time, but hopefully the time we spend will eliminate those problems, those issues.